Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Rejuvenators and how powerful that 4-star legendary effect can be on our power armors. By the way, if you like what you see, make sure to give a like. And if you're interested, by all means, please subscribe. Without further ado, let's take a look at the build. So what is Rejuvenators? It's a 4-star legendary perk that gradually restores wearers and teammates' health and action points within a 50-foot radius and can only be applied on power armor. These are the points that I invested in special for this build. This is a heavy VATS main build, so please feel free to refer to this if you like. And here is the card loadout that I decided to use for this build. So under strength, I have Master Heavy Gunner, Expert Heavy Gunner. This is for more damage to our heavy weapons. Lock and Load for the faster reload, especially the Gatling Plasma takes a bit of time to reload, so this helps out a lot. Now, if you're carrying lots of heavy weapons, feel free to switch that out with Bare Arms. Perception, just 1 point for concentrated fire. We just want to make sure we can target the limbs. Under Endurance, I have Life Giver. This is just for more HP. Iron Stomach, this is for more damage and energy resistance. Natural Resistance for the natural elemental resistance. Thirst Quencher for AP. Bullet Shield for being more tanky. Radical for more strength when we're radiated. And this is especially useful if you're running a bloody build, which I am. Starch Genes, that's to help make sure you don't get your mutations taken away. And Cola Nut, this is to help with when you drink Nuka Dark, to help with that boost luck. So you can always get a crit every other shot. And Fireproof for that less damage from explosions and flame attacks. Now this is only at level 2. I haven't had any issues so far running with level 2, but if you want to take something out on this and put it onto Fireproof, feel free and go ahead. Charisma, so Strange in Numbers, that's a must-have. Tenderizer as well for more damage. Party Boy, this is going to sync well with Cola Nut. And Happy Go Lucky to give you more luck when you are drinking your Nuka Dark. Under Intelligence, we're going to go with First Aid, Nerd Rage, Power User, that's going to be... Oh, this syncs really well with your Vulcan Power Armor set with the minus 25% Fusion Core usage. So this is a must-have in my opinion, even if you're not running the Vulcan Power Armor set. Batteries included because those fusion cores and plasma cores weigh a lot. Stabilized, this is just for getting more accuracy and ignoring the armor. Especially helpful with first boss in the raid. Okay, going into Agility. Action Boy, that's for a nice regeneration boost. Gung Fu, I only have 1 point here, and this is mainly for the raid, so you're not really killing several things at once, so Gung Fu doesn't proc much unless you're going to fight the snake boss, and when the tail comes out and you hit the tail, Gung Fu will take into effect, but overall, I feel 1 point is more than enough. And then 5 points and Adrenaline. Once again, this is damage per kill, so this also does apply when you shoot the tail as well, so you'll get a nice damage boost there as well. This is just overall, even if you're outside of the raid, this can give you a nice damage boost regardless. Dodgy, using Dodgy for being tanky. Now this is huge because I have this level 3 because I'm getting more damage reduction. So this is avoid 30% of incoming damage at the cost of 30 action points per hit. Now remember, Rejuvenators with the full set is rejuvenating 25 HP and 25 AP per second. So, albeit it's less than 30, it's happening each second. So you're going to get that you're going to have that those 30 action points replenished very quickly. So this is just to be even more tanky. Under Luck, I have Ricochet must have, and 4-leaf Clover must have again for VAT users. Class Freak, Junk Shield for that extra resistance. Bloody Mess, I only have this at level 2, and the reason why is because I have Good with Salt. For me personally, I need Good with Salt because I don't want my food to spoil, but if you feel like that's not a problem for you, by all means, you can make a Bloody Mess to 3, rank 3. Better criticals and critical savvy. Mutations I'm using are Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Carnivore, Chameleon, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Empath, Herd Mentality, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, Bee Demon, and Twisted Muscles. And just for demonstration purposes, I am not using any food buffs, nor drink buffs. I am partially fed, and I'm also hydrated. Partially hydrated. Well, halfway. Okay, let's take a look at what power I'll be using. For the first run, I'm going to use Troubleshooters. Now, this entire set is Troubleshooters with the second star mixed with Strength, Intelligence, and Perception. So it has nothing to do with AP, cost, or any kind of damage resistance based off of endurance. These are the stats for my Troubleshooters. I have 741 under Ballistic, 236 for Poison because of Funky Duds, 36 to Fire, 781 to Energy, 36 to Cryo, and 260 to Radiation. Also, one thing to note, the torso in this power armor has Medic Pump installed, so that means I'll automatically use a Stim Pack below 50% health. Alright, let's see how much this can take. Wow, not surprising. So the Troubleshooters handled it really, really well. And with the Medic Pump, I was basically unstoppable for that entire run. And I was able to take almost half of its life down as well just by standing there, which is pretty amazing. All right, let's try with an OverEaters with Rejuvenators on. Now time to test out the OverEaters. So we have an OverEaters Vulcan Power Armor set. Second star is Antiseptic, so it has no influence to AP regen, AP, or any damage resistance based off of endurance. This one is also equipped with a Medic Pump on the torso. Let's take a look at the stats too. So you can see 741 Ballistic, 236 Poison, 36 Fire, 781 Energy, 36 Cryo, and 260 Radiation. Okay, so it wasn't able to tank that as good as the Troubleshooter. This time, let's try to see if fully fed and fully hydrated makes it. Hydrated, we'll get +1 endurance, and we'll also get 34% AP regen with a disease resistance. And if we're fed, we'll get +1 strength, more HP, and more damage, disease resistance. Give it a go.
Alert. Unauthorized personnel detected. Activating defense systems.
We'll also get more damage resistance across the board here as well. Okay, even though we were fully fed and fully hydrated, it still had a quick demise. So let's try and add endurance to all the second stars. Okay, now we're going to test this with +2 endurance and Rejuvenators and OverEaters. See how much it can tank. Wow, so a full set of +2 endurance with Rejuvenators and OverEaters was able to tank just as much as the Troubleshooters, which is very amazing. Now, if we look at the stat numbers, there was about a 2 to 3% increase overall to these resistances, except for radiation. That does not change. And for the AP, there was about a 10% increase. Now let's test +2 agility across the board. So we have a full set of +2 agilities with OverEaters and Rejuvenators. Now, if we look at the stats, it's the exact same stats as when we had Antiseptic attached. This time, the only difference is our AP. Our AP had about a 32% increase. So now we're at 412. Let's see if this affects dodgy and how tanky we can be. So that had no effect. We were basically KO'd, similar to when we had antiseptic attached. So how much endurance is necessary then to tank as much as we can as if we were wearing the Troubleshooters? Now this time I'm going to run one piece with +2 endurance and the rest with +2 to agility. So we'll have slightly more AP than if we were running all endurance, but we'll get a slight boost to our resistance. So it went from 743 to now 748, 238 to 240, from 38 to 40, and from 783 to 788, and 38 to 40. All right, so it looks like the sweet spot is one piece with +2 to endurance, the rest +2 to agility. This is going to allow us to have a higher AP pool, which allows us to stay longer in VATS, and it gives us enough resistance to tank basically all the bosses in raid. But what about bloody build? We want to try to give as much damage as we possibly can and have high survivability. So let's test out the sweet spot that we just discovered, see how long we can tank this. Okay, so it's not strong enough to tank it, but still haven't used bullet shield. This time I'm going to use my anti-armor, 25% weapon speed, minus 25% AP cost, and conductors, Gatling plasma. Now this is calibrated and also has the stinging core and accelerated nozzle, so it's fire pretty fast. Let's see how long I could survive using this. Okay, so it wasn't enough to survive. However, I didn't use my Nuka Dark that time. So let's see if we have our luck up high so we can crit every other shot to see if conductors can keep healing us to survive.
Alert. Unauthorized personnel detected. Activating
Luck's at
defense
35 now.
systems.
Okay, so that was kind of tough regardless. I didn't feel like the conductors was proccing too much, perhaps the high weapon speed or something else was causing that to be a bit inconsistent. But let's try and use a vampire's Gatling plasma and see if that can help us survive. Okay, now this time I'll be using a vampire's explosive, minus 25% AP cost. You don't need a 4-star, but on this one I do have pinpoint. Let's see if we can survive.
Unauthorized personnel detected.
Okay, so the vampire Gatling plasma helped me survive even as a bloody. So now we know that if we run an OverEaters with 1 +2 to endurance and the rest +2 to agility and Rejuvenators on, we're able to do either full health or a bloodied build in the raid. Now I've tested this on all parts of the raid and I was able to survive the entire way. So now we understand that having one piece with +2 to endurance allows enough resistance to take hits from the boss in the raid. The rest of the second stars is completely up to you, but I highly recommend agility for a larger AP pool, which will allow you to stay longer in bats. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't use any food buffs because I wanted to showcase that you can do this without having to worry about should I be a carnivore or should I be an herbivore. It's completely up to you. They both have their benefits. I'm personally running a carnivore just because of the extra carry weight and the easy plus endurance and AP that I can get. However, the herbivore has really nice extra crit damage and nice AP regen from Company T. So it really depends on your playstyle. I hope you enjoyed the showcase of how strong Rejuvenators is and how you can use it in the raid to basically be a very powerful tank. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was helpful and see you around in the wasteland.